I want a divorce. Papers are filed. Account is closed. Don't contact me. The email appeared on my phone at 0400 hours while I sat in a military tent in Kuwait, surrounded by the hum of generators and the smell of desert dust. No explanation. No apology. Just 7 words that ended my 8-year marriage while I was 7,000 miles from home serving my country. My name is Captain Maya Torres. I was 32 years old, and until that moment, I believed my husband Nathan loved me enough to wait 6 more months until my deployment ended. I stared at the screen as my hands started shaking. Then I opened our bank app. Joint account balance. $. He had taken everything. Every dollar I had saved. Every penny from my deployment pay. The emergency fund we built together. All of it. Gone. Around me, soldiers prepared for morning drills. Nobody noticed me sitting frozen in the corner, watching my entire life collapse through a cracked phone screen. I wanted to scream. Instead, I took a breath and made a decision. Nathan thought he had won by striking while I was overseas and powerless. He had no idea what was coming. I met Nathan 5 years before I enlisted, back when I was working double shifts as a hospital nurse in Phoenix. He was a pharmaceutical sales representative who came through the cardiac unit selling equipment. Handsome, charming, funny. He bought me coffee during my breaks and listened when I complained about 12-hour shifts. "You deserve better than this," he said one night. "You deserve someone who takes care of you." Those words should have been a warning. But I was exhausted and lonely, and Nathan made me feel seen. We married after 8 months. At first, everything seemed perfect. He supported my decision to join the Army Reserves. He said he was proud of me, but the cracks started showing during basic training. "Why do you have to be gone so long?" he complained. "Other wives don't abandon their husbands like this." I ignored it. Then came my first deployment orders. 9 months in Kuwait. Nathan cried when I told him about the deployment. 9 months, he said. That's almost a year. "It's my duty," I replied. "What about your duty to me?" he shot back. I should have paid attention to that moment. Should have noticed how he made everything about himself. But I was focused on preparing to leave, and Nathan seemed to calm down after a few days. "I'll wait for you," he promised the night before I left. "I love you, Maya. Come home safe." He kissed me at the airport, held my hand until the last possible second, told me he would write every day. For the first 2 months, he did. Sweet emails, photos of our apartment, updates about his job. Then the messages slowed, then they stopped. I told myself he was just busy, that he missed me too much to write. Now I understood the truth. He was planning his exit strategy. I sat in that tent for 3 hours, staring at the divorce email and the empty bank account. Around me, soldiers joked and prepared for the day. I felt completely alone. Finally, I stood and walked to the communications tent. "I need to make a call," I told the sergeant on duty. He handed me a satellite phone. I dialed Nathan's number with shaking fingers. It went straight to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail. 12 more times. Every single call, ignored. My chest felt tight, but I refused to cry. Not here. Not in front of other soldiers. Instead, I called my lawyer back home in Phoenix. Patricia Reyes answered on the 3rd ring. "Maya, is everything okay?" "No," I said quietly. "I need your help. My husband just divorced me by email while I'm deployed, and he emptied our joint account." Patricia went silent. When she spoke again, her voice was steel. "Get me everything. Forward every email, every bank statement, everything." Patricia called me back 6 hours later. "Maya, this is bad. He filed for divorce 3 weeks ago using a P.O. box address you don't know about. He claimed you abandoned the marriage by deploying." My jaw clenched. Abandoned? He also withdrew all joint funds the same day he filed. Legally, it's a gray area because it was a joint account, but the timing is suspicious. "Can we stop this?" I asked. Patricia hesitated. "The divorce will likely go through since you can't appear in court while deployed. Arizona law allows it, but we can fight the financial aspect." "What do I need?" "Document everything. Every email, every financial record. When you come home, we rebuild." "But Maya, I need to tell you something else." My stomach dropped. "What?" I did some digging. Nathan bought a new truck 2 weeks ago, $45,000, cash. He spent my deployment money on a truck. I closed my eyes. "I'll handle it," I said. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay on my bunk staring at the ceiling, thinking about every moment I missed, every warning sign I ignored. The way Nathan always quit jobs after a few months, how I covered rent when he was between opportunities. The credit card bills I paid off without question. I had been so busy working and serving that I never stopped to see what Nathan really was. A man who saw me as a bank account with benefits, but lying there in the darkness, something else stirred inside me. Not sadness, not heartbreak. Rage. Cold, focused rage. Nathan thought I was helpless overseas, thought I would come home broken and defeated. He had no idea who he was dealing with. Because 3 months before deployment, something happened that I hadn't told Nathan about. Something that was about to change everything. It started with my grandmother. Abuela Carmen died 6 months before my deployment. She was 89 and had lived a full, quiet life running a small restaurant in Tucson. At her funeral, her lawyer approached me privately. "Maya, your grandmother left specific instructions. I need you to come to my office." 2 days later, I sat in his office while he slid documents across the desk. "Your grandmother invested wisely over the years. She owns 3 properties in Tucson and Phoenix. She also has investments worth approximately $1.4 million. I nearly fell out of my chair. "What?" "She left everything to you, with one condition. You cannot access it until you turn 33, or in the event of a life-changing emergency." I was 32. My birthday was 4 months away, during my deployment. I signed the papers, but I never told Nathan. Abuela had warned me years ago, never tell a man about money until you know his heart. Now I understood why. The next morning I requested a meeting with my commanding officer, Colonel Anderson. "Captain Torres," he said, looking up from paperwork. "What can I do for you?" "Sir, I need to request emergency leave. My husband filed for divorce while I'm deployed and emptied our joint account. I need to handle legal matters back home." Colonel Anderson's expression darkened. "He did what?" I showed him the email and the bank statements. He studied them carefully, his jaw tight. "This is completely unacceptable," he said quietly. "You're serving your country, and this is how he treats you?" "I need to go home, sir, just for 2 weeks." Colonel Anderson nodded. "Request approved. I'll expedite the paperwork. You leave in 48 hours. "Thank you, sir." As I stood to leave, he added, "Captain Torres, when you get home, make him regret every choice he made." I allowed myself a small smile. "That's exactly what I plan to do, sir." 48 hours later, I landed at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. It was January, and the desert air felt cold after months in Kuwait. I took a taxi straight to Patricia's office. She stood when I walked in, and for the first time in months, someone hugged me. "Welcome home, soldier," she said. We sat down, and she pulled out a thick folder. "Here's what I found. Nathan's been living with someone named Vanessa Cole. She works at the same pharmaceutical company. They started dating 2 months into your deployment." My hands clenched. 2 months. "He bought the truck in her name, but used your money. He also signed a lease on a luxury apartment downtown. Rent is $3,000 a month." I did the math in my head. He had blown through nearly $60,000 in 3 months. Money I earned by serving my country while he played house with his girlfriend. Patricia leaned forward. "Maya, there's more. I found something interesting in Arizona law." "Arizona is a community property state," Patricia explained. "Everything acquired during marriage is split 50-50 in a divorce. But here's the thing. Funds obtained through fraud or theft can be recovered with penalties." "How does that help me?" I asked. "Nathan withdrew joint funds immediately before filing for divorce, without your knowledge or consent, while you were deployed and unable to respond. A judge will see that as financial misconduct." Hope flickered in my chest. "What do we do?" "We file a motion to freeze his assets and recover your share plus damages." "But Maya, I need to ask you something. Do you have any other assets Nathan doesn't know about?" I took a breath. Then I told her about Abuela Carmen's inheritance. Patricia's eyes widened. $1.4 million? And he doesn't know? "He has no idea, and my birthday is in 6 days." A slow smile spread across Patricia's face. "Maya, we just found our leverage. Here's what we're going to do." Patricia's plan was brilliant and ruthless. First, we would let the divorce proceed without contest. Nathan wanted out? Fine. He could have his divorce. but we would file a separate motion for financial recovery, claiming he stole marital funds while I was deployed. Second, we would use my upcoming inheritance as leverage. The moment I turned 33, I would have access to funds Nathan couldn't touch because they were premarital assets through inheritance. Third, we would document every dollar he spent and demand repayment with interest and penalties. "He thinks you're coming home broke and broken," Patricia said. "Let him think that. Let him believe he won. Then we destroy him legally." "When do we start?" I asked. "Tomorrow. But tonight, I want you to do something for yourself." "What?" "Go home. See what he left behind. Take photos of everything. Then pack your things and never look back." I nodded. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "Anything." "Why are you helping me like this?" Patricia's expression softened. "Because my sister was deployed when her husband did something similar. She came home to nothing. I couldn't help her. But I can help you." I took an Uber to the apartment Nathan and I had shared for 3 years. My hands shook as I unlocked the door. Inside, everything looked normal at first. Then I noticed what was missing. The photos of us, gone. My grandmother's quilt from the couch, gone. The coffee maker I bought, gone. I walked into the bedroom, half the closet was empty. My jewelry box, the one Abuela gave me, was missing. But what stopped me cold was the note on the kitchen counter, written in Nathan's handwriting. "Maya, I can't live like this anymore. You chose the military over me. I deserve someone who puts me first. Don't try to contact me. I've moved on. You should too. The apartment lease is up next month. Good luck, Nathan." I read it 3 times. Each time, my rage grew colder and sharper. Then I took photos of everything. The empty closet, the missing items, the note. I packed 2 bags of my remaining belongings and walked out. I never looked back. I checked into a small hotel near Patricia's office. That night, lying in an unfamiliar bed, I finally let myself cry. Not because I missed Nathan, but because I felt like a fool. 8 years of my life wasted on a man who abandoned me the moment I couldn't serve his needs. I cried for the woman I was when I met him, the exhausted nurse who believed someone actually cared about her. I cried for all the money I earned and saved that he stole. I cried for the future I thought we would have. Then after an hour, I stopped. I washed my face. I looked at myself in the mirror. My uniform was still packed in my bag. The same uniform I wore while serving my country with honor while Nathan betrayed me. "No more crying," I said to my reflection. "He doesn't deserve your tears." The next morning, I woke up with new resolve. My birthday was in 5 days. Time to start rebuilding. Patricia called early. I filed the motion. Nathan's attorney will receive it today. "Are you ready for what comes next?" "What happens now?" I asked. "He'll panic. He'll realize you're not just accepting the divorce quietly. He'll probably try to contact you." "I won't answer." "Good. Let him sweat. Also, I need you to come to the office. We need to prepare your deposition for when this goes to court." I spent 6 hours at Patricia's office that day. We went through every bank statement from the past 3 years, every text message, every email. We built a timeline of Nathan's financial behavior. The pattern was clear. Whenever I was away for training or duty, his spending increased dramatically. When I was home and monitoring finances, he was careful. "This shows deliberate deception," Patricia said. "He knew exactly what he was doing." At the end of the day, she looked at me seriously. "Maya, this is going to get ugly. Nathan will fight back. Are you prepared for that?" "Yes," I said simply. "Good. Because your birthday is in 4 days, and everything changes then." 3 days before my birthday, Nathan's lawyer called Patricia. "He wants to negotiate," she told me. "What does he want?" "He's offering to return $20,000 if you drop the financial recovery motion." I laughed bitterly. "He stole $60,000 and wants to give back 20? That's the offer. Tell him no." Patricia smiled. "With pleasure." That afternoon, I received a text from an unknown number. "Maya, please, can we talk? I made mistakes, but we can work this out." "Nathan." I showed Patricia. "Do not respond," she said firmly. "He's realizing he's in trouble and he's trying to manipulate you. This is exactly what we expected." I blocked the number. An hour later, another text from a different number. "You're being unreasonable. I deserve half of everything too. Why are you doing this to me?" The audacity was breathtaking. He stole everything while I was deployed, and now he was the victim? I blocked that number too. Patricia was right. He was panicking. Good. My birthday arrived on a cold Tuesday morning in January. I woke up at dawn and drove to Abuela Carmen's lawyer's office. Mr. Hoffman greeted me with a warm smile. Happy birthday, Maya. Your grandmother would be so proud of the woman you've become. He slid papers across the desk. As of today, you have full access to your inheritance. 3 properties, currently valued at $800,000 combined. Investment portfolio worth $1.6 million. Total value, $2.4 million. My hands trembled as I signed the final documents. The number had grown since Abuela's death. I was a millionaire. Mr. Hoffman handed me a sealed envelope. Your grandmother left this for you. She said to open it on your birthday. I opened it carefully. Inside was a letter in Abuela's handwriting. My dearest Maya, if you're reading this, I am gone, but my love remains. I worked my entire life to build something for you. Not just money, but freedom. Freedom to choose your own path. Freedom to never depend on anyone who doesn't deserve you. Use this gift wisely. Make me proud. Te amo siempre, Abuela Carmen. I cried reading those words. Not sad tears. Tears of gratitude. Abuela had given me more than money. She had given me power. I called Patricia immediately after leaving Mr. Hoffman's office. It's official. I have full access. Perfect. I've scheduled a court hearing for next week. Nathan's attorney tried to delay, but the judge denied it. We're going to court. What should I expect? Nathan will argue that he deserves half of your inheritance because you were married when your grandmother died. We'll argue that inheritance is separate property under Arizona law and that his theft of joint funds disqualifies him from any claim. Will it work? Yes, the law is clear. Inheritance is not community property unless you commingled funds, which you didn't. But Maya, there's something else. What? I did more digging. Nathan and Vanessa got engaged last week. My breath caught. Engaged? He proposed using a ring that cost $15,000, bought with your money. The rage I felt was ice cold and diamond hard. Add it to the list, I said quietly. Everything he'd bought with stolen funds. Every single dollar. I want it all back. Patricia's voice was satisfied. Now you're thinking like a winner. The week before the hearing, I focused on rebuilding my life. I found a small house to rent in Scottsdale. I visited the 3 properties Abuela left me. One was her original restaurant building, now leased to a successful Mexican food chain. One was a duplex near the university with reliable tenants. One was a small commercial space in downtown Phoenix. All were generating steady income. I met with a financial advisor who helped me understand my investment portfolio. Your grandmother was incredibly smart, he said. These investments are diverse and stable. You're set for life if you're careful. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. I wasn't just surviving. I was thriving. Meanwhile, Nathan kept trying to contact me. Texts from new numbers, emails to old accounts, even a letter delivered to Patricia's office. All of them said the same thing. We can work this out. Don't do this. I still care about you. Every word was manipulation. Every message ignored. He was running out of options, and he knew it. The morning of the hearing, I put on my dress uniform. Patricia raised an eyebrow when she saw me. You're wearing your uniform to court? Yes, I want the judge to see exactly who I am. A soldier who served her country while her husband stole from her. Patricia smiled. That's brilliant. We arrived at the courthouse 30 minutes early. Nathan was already there with his lawyer. He looked terrible, tired, stressed, older somehow. When he saw me in uniform, his face went pale. I walked past him without a glance and sat beside Patricia. The bailiff called the courtroom to order. Judge Morrison entered, a woman in her 60s, with sharp eyes and no-nonsense demeanor. This is a hearing regarding the motion filed by Captain Maya Torres for financial recovery following marital dissolution. Let's begin. Nathan's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client believes this motion is punitive and unnecessary. The divorce was amicable, and both parties agreed to. Stop, Judge Morrison interrupted. I've read the filings. There was nothing amicable about this divorce. Continue, Miss Reyes. Patricia stood, and then she destroyed him.